Our draft guru is here, Jay Will. So walk us through maybe what the Cavs should be looking for in this draft.
Well, if he's still available, I think there's only one pick, and that's Michael Porter Jr. And granted, he's only played 53 minutes in his collegiate career, and people are going to say, well, he wasn't his full self, and you have to worry about injuries. But if he passes all medicals, this kid is a special talent. We were talking about this kid last year being easily the first pick in the NBA draft. He averaged 37 in high school, and this is what he does. He has pinch post-like moves. He can almost get a triple-double, but he's not a pass-first type of player. He's more of the lost art within the game right now, which is mid-range and a guy that can become a facilitator, and is actually pretty decent defensively. Not great bursts like a Jason Tatum that plays for the Celtics, but does a great job of getting the job done. He would be a critical part on this team right now for LeBron if he were playing in the playoffs. That's how special of a player he is.
And what you have to understand about him is he would have been the #1 overall recruit, right, going into the season if Marvin Bagley hadn't reclassified. And he said he was playing hurt the whole time his senior season.
Well, that's the thing. He has that lower back injury, and that's always going to be a question about a player like that. Now, the thing I love about him is this year we got into a huge debate about whether he should actually play or not. I was the first one to say, hey, worry about your future. Do not play in your collegiate career. But he does what you actually want a player to do. He fought through that. He came back early. Now, people criticized him for coming back early and not being great, but he has that type of mentality.
I know some people hate it when you ask questions this way, but who is he in the NBA? Like, if he maxes out, if he's as good as he could wind up being, who does he become?
He's kind of like a Sean Livingston before Sean Livingston got hurt. But even a better he's a better mid-range three-point shooter than Sean. He possesses that talent more.
Okay.
All right. Well, he's come from a
But
basketball.
Sean Livingston, before Sean Livingston got hurt,
he was a very good player.
Was going to be one of the truths, by the way.
Right. And now he is hurt, and we haven't really seen him play since being hurt. And again, he had a spinal surgery that allowed him to only play 3 games in his college career. All right, so Cavs fans, you might want to look up Michael Porter Jr., but another name that we could be talking about is Robert Williams from Texas A&M. Now, give me why he's a guy who you have your eye on, but could be picked outside of the top 10.
Athletically, he's a freak. It's scary. I mean, all of his metrics are going to be off the charts. Around 6'10", 6'11", has close to a 40-inch vertical. You've been hearing comparisons to Clint Capella, comparisons to DeAndre Jordan. He has that type of athletic ability. Now, he got suspended at the beginning of the season. Actually, it was the season of turmoil for Texas A&M.
Playing out of position a little bit.
Out of position.
They had a lot of suspensions. They had injuries.
Look at you. See, this is why.
Hey, I'm SEC basketball. Let's go. That's what I'm here for, right, Greeny?
Me too.
Okay.
His points per game went down. His free throw percentage went down. And at times, the only knock on him is that sometimes he just didn't look engaged. There were times on the court where it didn't look like he wanted to be on the court. And everybody thought this was going to be a year Texas A&M could actually win a championship. And they played better in the tournament, but there's still no doubt his talent is so raw, it speaks for itself.
It's funny that we haven't been talking about him a lot, and I did the entire combine in Chicago, and we didn't mention his name one time, and he could have been a lottery pick a season ago. He decided to come back for another year.
No, well, you have a lot of people in your ear, come back to school, prove that you can be a dominant scorer. And all that happened for a kid like this, it's not for everybody. I'm not saying this for all kids, but for a kid like Robert Williams, he came back to school, he didn't live up to the expectation, and all of a sudden now he's gonna be maybe anywhere between 10 to 20.
Right. Okay, let's talk about a guy who only spent 1 year in school, went to Kentucky. Obviously, Kevin Knox is a big name that we are constantly talking about. This guy, how you think he could develop and maybe what kind of team he needs to fit into.
By the way, with Robert Williams, too, I think a great fit for him would be Indiana. Miles Turner really hasn't panned out the way they thought he was going to pan out. He could be great for them. Kevin Knox is interesting. People have compared him to the likes of Paul George a little bit. I think that the big question for him, he's a silky shooter, not a Devin Booker type shooter that played for Kentucky, but actually started to come into his own throughout the course of the season because he became more aggressive. Now, he's a 7-foot wingspan. He's 6'7", 6'8". He can get to the rim. He can finish, extremely athletic, and has the range to extend the defense. The one question you have for him that any NBA team is going to have for a guy like this is, can he continue to develop that mentality of becoming more and more aggressive? Will he constantly hunt his shot, or can he be lost in the flow of an offense?
I remember Coach Cal saying, I think we did the West Virginia-Kentucky game, and he said, we just need him to be more physical. We've kind of seen that when he takes a little more contact off the ball, he struggles to score. And also, they lined up clips of KD when he came in and was like, this is who we want you to be on and off the ball. We want you to look just like KD.
Now, a great fit for him would be a team like the Clippers, right? You have Lou Will, who can score off the dribble. You have Austin Rivers, who can score off the dribble. They don't have a guy to really extend that defense by knocking down a shot, and he can blossom into that type of KD player.
Okay, let's talk about a guy that's a proven winner, Jalen Brunson from Villanova. Wooden Award winner, basically won every single award you could possibly win this season. Where does he fit in this entire NBA draft?
I know the 76ers fan base, they love Mitch McConnell. They love him. but you will love Jalen Brunson even more if you have a chance to draft him with the 76ers. Obviously, his father, they're from that area. He understands how to play. And I'm telling you right now, if he were guarding the likes of a Steph Curry still might have 25 points in him, but Steph Curry's going to leave the game with scratch marks all over his arms. Steph Curry's going to leave the game tired and doing an ice bath multiple times. Jalen Brunson's a kid who psychologically understands the game at a way different level. He does nothing to hurt you. He does everything to make your team better.